This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. 9 things that you can do to make your family life great and enjoyable. Very uplifting, positive topic today on the 40 Days for Life podcast, and somebody who desperately needs help making his life better is joining me, and that is Mr. Steve Carlin.
Going to be a very different podcast from last week's episode.
I don't know what you mean. Heather is also here, and we are welcoming you as well. If you do have feedback on last week's unbelievable podcast, setting records in so many different areas, please go back and listen to that podcast. If you make it past, 6-8 seconds, please write us and let us know what you think of the podcast at podcast@4daysforlife.com. And just by saying that, we know that will drive the numbers up, as it should. You will not be let down by that podcast. I will not refer to it by any other name. Okay. Before we get into this, summer is basically over. I know it is for you, Steve. So sorry.
Aww.
So kind of the movie season is over. One thing that I would like to go on a rant on to y'all that Mary Lisa had to listen to, I promise this won't take long for the viewer. So in the 90s, which were the glory days in a lot of different ways other than the presidency, every year, sometimes twice a year, a movie would come out that was based on a John Grisham book. Okay. Now, I've read some John Grisham. I don't think he's like the greatest author in the world, but he's very, very good. He's very entertaining, and he's an excellent writer, and he was awesome. And his books made awesome movies. And then that just stopped. But John Grisham has written like 1 billion more books since, 2000. They just don't make movies out of them anymore. And the both pro and anti-John Grisham people say, he's not writing the books anymore. It's these little dudes, which I think it is, and he kind of they speak John Grisham. But those are still pretty good. Mary Lisa's read a lot of John Grisham, and they're still really good. And they would all make awesome movies. There's one called Sycamore Row, which is awesome. I highly recommend it. It is the sequel to A Time to Kill, for those of you who read A Time to Kill or saw the movie. A Time to Kill was his first book. The second movie that he had made, the first movie that was made after one of his books was The Firm, one of the many great Tom Cruise running scenes of all time, because he's in like a suit the whole time. But anyways, Pelican Brief, The Rainmaker. Steve didn't know what any of these movies are. Do you know The Client? Runaway Juror.
I've heard of all these. They're actually on my list to watch this summer.
They're good.
Some of them I've already watched. So.
Okay, yeah. So, but they're really good. But you're sitting here going, the dialogue's there. It's easy to turn his books into a screenplay and just do it. And it just doesn't happen anymore, but it happened like twice a year for a whole decade.
You're right.
And they all made money. It's not like, people are tired of the John Grisham thing. They weren't. The movies all made a ton of money, and I can never understand. And the cast were always awesome. You had Denzel and Julia Roberts in The Pelican Brief.
Yep.
A Time to Kill is loaded. You got Samuel Jackson, Matthew McConaughey's first serious role, which he's fantastic in. Kiefer Sutherland, who played a great member of the KKK. He's a great racist on screen. Sandra Bullock's in that. Everybody's in that. Everybody's in A Time to Kill. What's her face? Ashley Judd. Anyways, all his movies had all these big actors and actresses, and then they just quit doing it, and I don't understand. I don't think y'all do either. I'm getting no reaction from y'all. What's the matter? What's going on? Producer John, why hasn't there been any John Grisham movies since then? Answer me. Okay, shut up. Okay. No more asking Baptists what they think.
We're just helping keep you honest, then that this will be a short
episode.
Because I said it would be. Okay.
Short banter.
So these are Okay, family life can be very, very difficult, and people start to get burned out. They're like, what do we do with our kids? We get this question a lot, like, what do y'all do with your kids all the time, you know? And all of your time that you spend with little kids, you're not burned out somehow.
No, but I also get to go home to a quiet home usually. So.
Yeah, I know
Unless
that.
I'm babysitting
But
overnight.
the other side of that is it's like, but these aren't even your kids and you're so patient. You know, I would have killed them by now. Like, we have to live with our kids. So it is. It's one of those things. So we're going to give you just a couple of things of how to make your home peaceful, calm, collected, and fun in the monastic life, which St. Jose Maria said your home shouldn't be like a monastery.
Yeah.
It should be robust. It should be vibrant. You know, it's okay for it to be loud. It needs to be organized. You know, like a monastic life. It's just not total chaos, but it's not like walking on eggshells. Not that monasteries aren't like that, but it's just not. It's going to be loud. It's going to have noise. It's going to be vibrant, as he puts it. So there are some things to have, like day-to-day basic things you can do to make your life seem not so chaotic. And this is us preaching to ourselves because we have the full spread of now college to little person, 5 years old. So number one, this is easier said than done, but it is possible.
Might be the most important.
It probably is in 2025. Set hard limits on phone use.
I specify here hard limits because if you set a resolution, whether it's Lent or New Year's resolution or whatever, like I'm gonna be on my phone less. Not gonna get the job done. Just you need to have kind of some hard lines. I think it was maybe Augustine who said that abstinence is easier than moderation, and I think that there's some good guidelines that we can place in here. Like if your first thing that you do in the morning is look at your phone, maybe you need to check your work email or there's some kind of family situation. Like obviously use good sound judgment.
Well, what happens is it's your alarm and you turn off your alarm and then Bob texts me.
Yeah. If you're checking,
I could put some real life names on who texted me early in the morning I can count on. Anyways.
but if you like first thing you do is like check out like what's going on your Twitter feed or your Facebook feed, that is suddenly your day's just not off to the start that it could be. And similarly, before bed, like all the sleep gurus, like how many of us have trouble as we get older sleeping well at night or getting a restful night's sleep? And some of that is the phones get your mind running, but there's also like the light factor and it like stops your body from having the melatonin that it needs to have as you're winding down the day, those sorts of things. Certainly, I wouldn't have a phone at the dinner table. And just
That's one of ours. The phone at the dinner table is a big one.
You're spending time with family. Like you don't want to be reading a story to your kids and then like I'm just going to check this text in between pages or something like that. So I don't know exactly what the hard lines look for everybody, but I think everybody should kind of have some basic like, the phone does not go here. The phone does not intrude upon X.
There is a comedian that a couple of years ago came out with a bit where I can't remember his name. I can remember what he looks like. He calls himself a nerd, and he uses a PowerPoint in his bit, and it's actually really funny. But he talks about some statistic, I don't know if it's real or not, where he said in 1995, 90% of people woke up and the first thing they did was go to the bathroom. And he goes, and now it's 2020, whatever. And he goes, and the 90%, the first thing they do is look at their phone. And he's like, how do we all of a sudden not have to pee anymore?
How do we not have to pee anymore?
And I'm like, that's true. Even it's even just like you can't help yourself if you're turning your alarm off. If you do use your phone as your alarm and then you pick it up and look at it instead of, okay, turn it off, now get up and go to the restroom, go make the coffee, whatever. It's actually really interesting. And he makes a good point. It's funny, but it's like, no, really, how are we holding it longer to look at our Twitter feed or whatever?
That's one of the blessings of my life is I have the bladder the size of a lima bean. So
There's no choice.
It sounds like, I don't care. The government could be texting me. Mary Lisa could be texting me. It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, I'll get to that emergency in a minute. I got to pee. But, I think that this is a huge one. I think also having a healthy, non-annoying permission for people in your house to be like, you're on your phone too much.
Yeah.
Put down your phone. And whether that's the siblings doing it, whether it's them doing it to you, your spouse doing it to you, but just hey, off the phone. And the whole thing, which is now, and this is hard with teenagers, is you're watching a baseball game. Okay. Let's say football, because it's a better sport.
Disagree.
Dad, where did Brett Favre play in college? I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the access to knowledge all the time is like, no, we're not doing that. We have a little bit of a problem. We had one. It's kind of faded, but we had 2 teenagers accusing one teenager right after they got their phone of being a screenager. Which I didn't know that term. That's funny. You're a screenager. You're just raised on a screen and all that. And they were actually being really responsible for it being their first 2 weeks, in our opinion. But anytime they would look over, they're like, see her on her phone, like, you're just a screen, and they're making fun of her because she got a phone before they did. And age, it's just a jealousy thing. And so part of that was and she's like, I'm not going to look at my phone for a week just to shut them up. There's that kind of thing going on. But I do think the dinner table is a must. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just asking for it.
When I'm in a household that I know that that's the rule, because not all households have that rule with their kids, but a lot of them, I know do. And if there's a kid that comes up to a seat next to me and they have a device, I just take it away from them. And then they go, I'm like, nope, you know the rules. Mom and Dad said.
Very good.
Oh, they don't, then they're like, that's right. Because they can't go to Mom and Dad and say, she took my phone away or she took my iPad away. I'm like, no, Mom and Dad said no rule, no phones.
I think also it's a basic rule that people can respect, because you can't give your kid a smartphone or any kind of phone where they can text or whatever and be like, don't ever use it, stay away from it. It's just not fair. It's like handing them a cookie cake and saying you can't have a bite, or you can only have a small bite. But I got to hold the whole cake all night? Yes. Don't touch it. No, you already had your bite. Okay, one more little bite. No more. It's just torture. And then what are they going to do? They're going to take the cookie cake to their room and eat the whole thing in 5 minutes. And so I do think that I know I would say 2 of our kids, the phone is not this sacred cow that is this unbelievable thing.
It's a good start then.
It is. And sometimes it's like, answer your phone, or, where's your phone? I don't know, I lost it, and that's kind of like, I guess
now you're defeating the purpose.
That's kind of good, but also, it's that part instead of the ones that are carrying it around, like, precious,
Right.
And I do think that there's a balance with that, but just regulating the phone use, being strict, not giving it too much credit, not propping it up like this. You can now use your phone, go get them, and they go crazy. But just keeping it where it should be.
You can tell that this is important because I went to a baseball game recently and there was an advertisement, I want to say from US Cellular, and it was a phone-free 5th inning. And it was kind of like commercials about these are all the great times to turn your phone off. You're taking a walk through nature. You're at the baseball game.
Wow.
And
it's great.
I can only think of one other industry that has advertised saying don't use our product, and it's the tobacco industry.
Yeah. What's his face? The CEO of Apple, Tim Cook. His kids don't have social media accounts. I think they have iPhones, but they don't allow them on social media. Zuckerberg didn't allow his kids.
I was going
to
say, Facebook. I think Zuckerberg is the same thing.
Yeah.
All of the Chinese.
Yeah. Well, this is like the cartel saying, I'm not letting my kids do cocaine.
Yeah.
But, it's going to pay for your volleyball swim party.
This sort of also plays into the fact that none of us have any time, right? We're all busy people. And I accept that's true to some degree, but everybody has more time than they think. Mm-hmm. Because maybe you're not, say, wasting an hour or 2 at a time just doom scrolling on your phone, but it becomes sort of like the go-to, okay, I've got 15 minutes in between dinner and unloading the dishwasher. And you can just waste those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Pick up a book or have a conversation or call your mom, or there's a million things to do. But you come out of the time spent scrolling through a feed unfulfilled and unsettled, and it's not good. And if you do something, I just found if I have this urge to like pick up my phone and do something pointless with it, if I just read 10 pages of a book during those 15 minutes or whatever, my life is more enjoyable.
You're also not interested in your phone. This is a really, really good point, because it's honestly what stinks is we have jobs, and I mean we, like us, obviously as individuals, but everybody listening, your phone's required. And so you have this, like, you got to use your phone at certain points, right? And to turn that off and on at certain times throughout the day is much easier said than done. But your example is very practical, which is, okay, we did the dishes. We have 20 minutes until whatever. We're going to watch a movie or whatever.
Play the piano.
Play the piano. Well, I can't do that.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Listen to the piano.
Oh, let me find a song on my phone.
Google it. Who's the best pianist? Where's he from? Was he on drugs? Was he gay? You know, all this stuff comes out. And you're like, it's one of those things where you don't miss it. And I think putting your phone in another room is great.
Yeah.
Because there is another side to this that I get on my teenagers about, which is, and you know me, I love the weather, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the reasons I really have to monitor it the older I get is because our kids won't. And they go on, you know, the other side of town, and I know there's one of these horrible Houston end of the world thunderstorms coming through, and they just won't look at the weather on their phone. And to this day, they'll still be like, "Hey, Daddy, what's the weather going to do tomorrow?" And of course, I like that they still ask me questions, so I answer the question. But I'm also like, if I'm busy, I'm like, look on your phone. This is what it's for. Mm-hmm. It can give you information our forefathers would have like given a kidney for, right? We know what the weather's going to do in the next 15 days. Are you kidding me? I'm a farmer. This is awesome. And we're just like, I didn't check the weather. And you're like, there's actually a tornado where you're driving to right now. So I think it's the wasted. Have you ever called out a kid because you thought they were looking at something they weren't looking at, and it was actually substantive? And they were
on the phone?
They were telling the truth. I've done this a couple times.
Yes.
Mine don't have phones that have internet.
They don't have iPhones.
They've got like the Gab phone or whatever.
Okay, so we had the Gab. Now 3 of them have the iPhone. So I've done this twice where I'm like, what are you looking at? And not like it's pornography or something bad, but like, hey, you're just sitting on the couch. Like, is it, you're looking at whatever. The squirrels chasing a donkey around.
Okay, we've had that with computer then. If it's not phone,
computer.
What are you sitting around on?
What are you sitting around? Yeah, laptop. I've done it with Declan, the 10-year-old. He's got like his school laptop, and I'm like, what are you looking at? And it's like he's like studying the Paternoster. He's like learning the Our Father in Latin, and I'm like, that's BS. And I walk over there, and he's actually doing it. I'm like,
you're not.
Okay, I'm a loser. And so that's happened to me a couple of times, but I don't regret it, because it's one of those, it's good to know this isn't your own like personal time to just, your phone's just not there for your perpetual entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? And it can be amazing, and it is awesome. And right now we could look up, how much did Jurassic Park make in Japan in 1993? And we would know it in 2 seconds. And that's a useless statistic, but if we wanted to know it, we would know it. If we wanted to watch the development of the unborn child, we could just watch the whole thing on YouTube right now, and it'd be awesome, right?
It also kind of ruins the, like, who is the best left-handed third baseman of all time? Like, you can just look it up and get the answer. It's no fun. There's a great comic I saw, just a one-frame comic. It was titled Life Before Google. And you see 2 guys on a couch. And the first one says, I just thought of a topic about which I would like to know more. And the second guy says, that's a damn shame.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you can't. The fact checking has made life much less fun.
Yeah.
The
other thing I noticed is, like, we all have like our funny videos we want to show people. Almost nobody wants to see your funny video as much as you want to show it to them, right?
No one wants to see it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I'm not going to mention any relatives by name, but like, it's got to stop. It's gotta stop.
Now I'm gonna find funny videos to show you guys.
I have a
just
trick.
to torture.
I have a trick, and I want the listeners to know in case I'm ever around them physically. I've got a way around it.
You say you've already seen it?
I've seen it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite color? Just like get out of the subject.
Yeah.
Because it's like
What's your
because the
favorite color?
because the 3-minute clip that's the funniest clip in the world that they show you only reminds the person, oh, okay. Now have you heard of Stephen Ray? No. Okay, you got to watch him. Here's his thing. He's a real person, but you know what I mean. Like all this stuff, like it just perpetuates itself, and you're looking at
You got on a
somebody's
rabbit
phone.
hole.
When we saw Seinfeld, he has a whole thing on this, and he's like, "How did I get into this?" He's like, "You're like in the black hole." He's like, "I got to get out. I can't get out." And he's like, "And not to mention, your phone's cracked. Now I got to look at your cracked phone."
And half the time you can't hear the audio
You
where
can
you are.
never
anyway.
hear the audio, Steve. It's nodding. It's really a big social problem that I don't think people want to admit.
Okay, there's a
You
couple.
gotta see it, Heather.
You do got to see
You
it, Sean.
gotta see
If
it.
I say you got to see it, you got to see it.
You gotta see it, and it's like I don't have to do anything.
Fine.
This is the United States of America.
Okay, throw that in our face. There are a couple of good examples of, shall we say, influencers out there who promote this big time. So I actually just heard a talk the other day that Charlie and Erica Kirk gave about specifically their family life. And they said one of the things that's what Steve's advice here is a hard limit on the phone use. And for one day of the week on the Sabbath, they will put their phones in a drawer and they will not access, which would be very difficult if you have those leisure moments where you're like, let's do this, let's watch this, let's look up this funny thing or whatever. But they have that hard rule that they don't do that, so they can recharge and they can reset their brain and those sorts of things, which I think is cool. And another cool thing, other influencers, Joanna Gaines and Chip Gaines, who have Fixer Upper. They also have the Magnolia Cafe, I believe it's called, in Waco. Fantastic food, by the way. Oh my gosh. There's not a single thing I've ordered on that menu that I don't love. Now I'm going into a Sean tangent. And they have a thing.
I love Magnolia, and I've been to 1823, which is their other restaurant.
Yes,
it's fantastic.
Now, I don't know about that restaurant, but at the Magnolia Cafe, they have baskets hanging by the tables to encourage you to put your phone in the basket so that you're not tempted to look at it during dinner time with your family.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I was with strangers at the time. They ended up becoming friends, but I was with a large group, and I thought if one of them's an axe murderer, I want to have my phone on.
Sure,
so I
makes
can
sense.
escape.
Makes sense, yeah.
You've seen the challenge where you go out to dinner with friends or whatever, everyone puts their phone on the table face down, and the first one who picks theirs up has to pay the bill?
Yes, I have seen that before.
That's kind of cool.
It's cool. It's still, yeah, because it's very, very tempting to just go, especially if the phones are on vibrate or they're chiming or off or whatever. Whose phone is that? But I think those are really great examples. I've also heard of Matt Fradd. Matt Fradd has this thing. He talks about it every year. The whole month of August, he takes off of media altogether. He doesn't watch movies, he doesn't watch TV, he doesn't watch the news, he doesn't have he like turns his phone off except for like, I guess, phone call emergencies for his family. That's incredible.
He's a
month.
YouTuber.
Yeah, Matt Fradd.
But he doesn't work the whole month of August?
He doesn't do those videos. He doesn't publish those videos during the whole month. So you know that his show is taking a break.
So he must load up in July.
I'm sure there's some of that, yeah.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
So I think it's good. And I think everybody struggles with this, and you just got to do your best and control these things.
Like you said, we're lecturing ourselves here.
Absolutely. And I think if you're just mindlessly like, oh my God, I just want to watch TV and like check out versus like, let's watch Jaws with the kids. It'll be fun. Like there's events, and then there's recreation, and then there's just the boredom, and you can just know you're scrolling, like you're just like you said, you're like, okay, I checked Twitter to see if Iran nuked somebody, they didn't,
and now I'm watching cat videos.
Now I'm watching, yeah.
I don't watch those, but that's the standard go-to.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I like your quote. I like the scripture reference here, Steve. It's from Isaiah 55. Why do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which doth not satisfy you?
I added this because I took some weird course in college to fulfill some requirement, and it was like the history of science and something about technology or whatever. And the thing that stands out to me 20 years later is they were studying what leisure activities bring people the most joy. And every single thing that people did with their free time increased their joy, except for watching TV. And I think now the phone is kind of the newer version of that.
Mm-hmm.
The phone's definitely the newer version of that. I mean, now there's all these studies like with kids. This is one of the reasons awkwardly we like try to sit our kids down and make them watch a whole movie, because the whole YouTube culture is like, if it's past 2 minutes and 33 seconds, I can't pay attention. I ask 10 questions. Why is that guy there? What are they doing? What are they,
yeah.
And you're just like,
We get that about this podcast.
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
I can say it because I just looked at the timer, and the people who send that email in have not made it this far.
They haven't made it this far, nor do we want them to. But yeah, it's so true. We can't, and that is the credit to Joe Rogan. I mean, he's going to sit down with somebody for 3.5 hours, and it works. He's got the stats to do it. You know, I don't listen to all his shows. I don't know who does. Lots of people, I guess, millions, but it just works. And it's like our longing for, hey, they're on a tangent, or they're just way off topic, but there really is no topic. They're just talking, and it's interesting, and, okay. Have a schedule for your chores. This is good. When you schedule your chores, you can be more purposeful in scheduling recreation. Schedule your fun. This is the good thing about being busy with a bunch of kids. You got to plan everything. You got to plan who's taking what car, who has to go to work. This summer was crazy because thankfully all 3 of my kids had jobs, really good jobs. Seamus did landscaping.
Oh, good for him.
Which was awesome. But I mean, it's like, 100 degrees all summer. And it was like, you wanted to get in shape for football. That's going to happen in 2 days. So, but you got to like, who's got the car? When are we doing this for fun? Is that going to leave this kid out? You really have to schedule stuff. But the chores, particularly for the little kids, which our little kids want chores to feel like a big kid. This is something I didn't expect in life. That's so cool. It's so great. And my pet peeve, when I get upset or mean, as I've been called, we ask you to do something and you're just like, no, that whole thing. It's not even a no. It's like a no.
I'm too tired. I'm like,
sorry.
oh, really? You were just running around a second ago.
And I've asked Declan, I said, this is really serious because you may have a medical, is an alien about to bust out of your chest? He's like, what? I was like, well, that's what I thought was happening is that, and of course he starts laughing.
Good answer.
Like,
yeah.
Go take the trash out.
Yeah.
And be quiet.
Yeah.
So,
I'm bored. Okay. Tell me how many shoes you can find laying around the house where I'm not supposed to go and go put them back where they belong.
Exactly. Shoes,
No,
socks.
I'm too tired. No, I'm sorry. You just said you wanted to go do this.
Clean your room. I did. I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, or I guess the big pet peeve is talking back to mom, which actually rarely happens. But that's not a good thing.
This one is born out of I found myself feeling that my evenings were just unsatisfying. Like you get to the end of the workday, you're hoping to, I don't know, just have some quieter tranquility around the house. And instead it's like, all right, we got 7 people at the table. So that's dishes and getting the kids who aren't old enough to brush their own teeth. And it just kind of felt like chaos for a matter of like dinner time until straight till bedtime. I was like, this needs to be a little bit different. And we found that when we kind of like assign people the specific chores or responsibilities that they have, everyone plays their own role. And also it allows you to, again, schedule in time for a board game, time to read, time to take a walk, time, whatever it is you want to do. Purposeless time can just get wasted and feel super unfulfilling. So that's why we like to like I said, not just assign it, but also schedule it, and then schedule some time that is going to be a little bit more fulfilling.
Much harder during the school year because you got homework and you got activities. Because we load our kids up in the summer, like the little kids. It's like, okay, y'all are going to unload the dishwasher and load it and all that. And we already have like certain chores that certain people have throughout the year. But when school starts and it's like, or we have to take a kid somewhere, you know. So I do. I think, and that leads to the next one, which is pray every day. I think having built-in prayer time every night, even if it's 5 minutes, but just 5 minutes of silence, of cramming in prayer, of saying the rosary, whatever it is you're going to do, read the scripture of the day, whatever you're going to do, it just calms everybody. Nobody ever regrets it. They regret maybe complaining that they have to do it if they did that. That's always a nice little guilt thing. But like, it's just one of those, this is good. And it's a good life lesson. Because when you get noisy, when you get clouded, when you get anxious, when you get busy, and you just take 5 minutes and you breathe and you pray and you're like, okay, this is not, it's just a reset.
And if you pray, I'll say this, when I was disciplined about praying most days, like particularly, I don't know that there's been for a very long time days where I didn't pray at all, but like we've talked about it on our Lenten podcast before, mental prayer, when you take the time for silence and contemplation. When I have had stretches in my life where I've done that most of the time, I don't hear the voice of God. When no excuses, I'm doing it every single day, that's when I think you actually start to hear the Lord responding to your prayers.
100%. And starting the day with prayer, because you cannot control what will happen all the time.
And I would say this also sort of dovetails with the one about having a schedule for things. Leave Sundays free. Like, we have this great tradition of the Sabbath and of the Lord's Day now in Christian times, but like, obviously you can't just not do the dishes on Sunday, but you can not do the laundry probably in many households on a Sunday, or you can avoid these forms of, I guess, servile labor. Like, really truly try to leave it for recreation, prayer, rest.
That depends on how you see it, because for some people, I know it sounds crazy to some people, but some people do like doing the laundry, or they like doing the dishes, or they like, because it's relaxing to mow the lawn or do yard work.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then that's not working.
If it's
on the Lord's
recreational.
Day. Like, if it's recreational.
I don't know anybody who likes doing laundry.
I know some.
Okay.
Most people I know don't.
And it may be like
but
you get away from the kids and it's kind of, but you're...
Well, if for some people, not get too detailed into this, but I know for me, sometimes I love doing manual labor, because I hate when I have these long spurts of time where I'm just so ingrained in mental thought and focusing and concentrating. I just want to not think hard about something, especially if it's about abortion or whatever. Like, I want to go and paint a wall or I want to go do manual labor. And then, and it's part of my control freak aspect that I'm like, oh, I can actually get this done and it's going to be done right and I know it. Whereas these other things that I've been working on, it's not completely in my control and it's not done exactly how I wanted it to be done. But I know I can fold the laundry well or something. I'm not saying I'm one of those people who likes doing laundry. I'm just saying sometimes it's those servile type of labor, things that I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's actually going to be a little bit relaxing right now.
And it's also instant gratification.
Yeah.
You mow the grass, it gets done, it looks great. It's going to grow back. You got to do it next week. But it's like right now, awesome.
Yeah.
So no, I totally get that. If it is truly recreation, some people do that with exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I know a lot of guys that commute in and out of Houston, and they're like, I just want to go run like 5 miles on Sunday afternoon after mass, and my wife takes a nap, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Sundays. I think you resent them when you don't protect them. And it's also motivation to get all your work done.
Yeah.
On Fridays. I've gotten to where I just don't travel on Sundays. There's just, I used to do it a lot, unfortunately. And I think natural burnout set in. And I was like, I was just coming home, and Mary Lisa didn't like it. I didn't like it, but it was like, I got to go, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and all that. And then you're just like, this stinks. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. Being next to Carhartt on an airplane on a Sunday morning was not very fun. Late-term abortion doctor. I'm going to make changes. Okay. Touch grass. We're getting into the organic rituals now.
Have you heard that phrase?
Yes. It makes me uncomfortable. because there's a lot of gurus out there that are like, you need to touch the earth. We're not doing that right now. Okay, get outside. I know what you're saying. Get outside, throw the baseball, take a walk, ride a bike.
There's some parents that have gotten to the point, especially like the millennial and Gen X parents, they're so tired of their kids. We have everything at our fingertips now. Kids have all the toys in the world. They have far more toys than their grandparents had, and maybe even their parents growing up, where you were lucky if you got one toy, at Christmas, if anything. They have all these toys. They have endless amounts of entertainment. They have a trampoline. They have bikes. They have skateboards. They have so many things, and they still say they're bored. And they want to be on their devices all the time. And I love it when I hear parents say, go do something outside and be okay with being bored. Like, you figure it out. Kids of yesterday used to figure it out without a problem. Like, go get into a little bit of trouble if you have to. I would be okay with that.
There's a huge advantage too, which we have, and I know you have, where you live in a very safe place, like a safe neighborhood. And we have a huge yard. We make our kids go outside if they don't go out on their own. Mm-hmm. I've locked them out before.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I need to go out some water. Like,
don't come. Hey, it used to be, don't come back till the street lights come on.
Yeah,
that was a big thing.
No, it was. And we don't have video games in our house. We've even been tempted, like, oh, maybe we should recently. And I was like, no. This is like, what was I thinking? I said, it's a good thought, because it's like, it'd be a good reward. They don't get to do it. They've never done it.
Yeah.
They're not even showing interest in it. But if we got like a 1991 Nintendo, they would freak out. If we got the new stuff, they'd go. And I'm like, we decided not to. I said, this is just a non-issue. We don't think about it. We don't deal with it. It's not a problem. And we're just inviting it in. And so we decided not to do it. But that has been very helpful. Our kids will do the thing in Texas where it starts to get hot, but it's not hot. It's like 85. Mm-hmm. But it hasn't been yet. It's like March or April.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's so hot.
Oh.
And then in July, they're running around, it's 95. And they think it's fine. It gets up to be 100. They're like, it's so hot. But they don't realize, like, they were just complaining. I guess our bodies adjust.
Yes.
But, that's getting outside and playing. We're very grateful. We have a lot of cousins nearby. And our kids will just disappear.
And I think this isn't just for kids. I think this is for adults.
No, for sure.
We had, summer means a lot to me because it's so short, right? And it's not a million degrees by me. It's like a wonderful time. And once you're in the working world, suddenly summer's like, man, I don't know. It's not like I'm on summer vacation where I can go out and play. It's like summer's here, but I'm still sitting in my same desk at my same office, looking out the window, not being outside.
Yep.
And one summer a few years ago, I just needed to do this big mulch project. I needed to get the mulch distributed. There's only so much time. So it's like after dinner, I'm out and I'm shoveling mulch. And I loved it. It was wonderful. I was just outside. And for the first time in a couple of years, I was like, I didn't miss the summer. And so I've made a point since then where I've got yard work to do, or I'm getting out with the kids. I'm helping coach a T-ball team this year. It's wild.
And you're going to take them to the top, baby. Let's just say it.
One kid hits the ball, and then all the other kids chase it, and the first one who gets it gets tackled by all the others as they try to take it away. It's nothing even resembling, but we're outside, right?
Something to work on in the offseason.
Yeah. we need more money in free agency, and maybe it would be a little bit better. But it's just good to be outside because you feel refreshed in the fresh air. As cliche as that sounds, it's so true, and just as much for adults.
Yeah, it's so true. Overscheduling. Guilty as charged. There's overscheduling with adults, which is we're having dinner with the Johnsons and we're having dinners with the, whatever, Bensons, and then we're going here, and then we're going there, and you're just like, I don't want to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's overscheduling with adults, and then there's overscheduling with kids, which leads to this total regret. And this is hard with a lot of kids because
it's far more challenging when you have multiple.
You drag your little kids around to your older kids' events, and your older kid only has one event a year. Like they do football or they do the musical or whatever it is. It's not possible for all the kids to have 5 activities. That's gone. But you have one and it's still busy. And I think that's just a straight up sacrifice. You make it work. You offer it up. You try to give your kids the best childhood experience. You don't shelter them where they can't do anything. You also don't tell them that they're going to get a full ride to LSU because they can throw a curveball in the 4th grade. And so it's just one of those things where, I think an easy thing, if you just say, we're not doing sports that require Sunday, it cuts out a lot of options. We're very blessed in that we live in Houston, so it's a massive market. So you basically have, you ever heard of Christian Youth Theater, CYT? Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's nationwide. It started in Houston, right?
I don't know. I didn't know that if it did.
But
okay. We could look it up.
It's basically the theater version of like, you want your kid to do theater and you don't want all the craziness of that. And we have sports versions of that where they have like football and it's only one practice a week and a game on Saturday morning. And that's it. It's basically like the non-committed kids league. But it's super fun and there's tons of options. And of course, in Texas, we have football year round. You can just pick any time of the year, and baseball too. Pick any time of the year and enter a league at any age. It's pretty awesome. Not everybody has access to that, but I do think balancing that, because we know people, they just drive around the state all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's miserable. It's like the Soviet Union Olympic training program. There's no recreation involved in it anymore. Peter, our oldest, was a pretty good baseball player, and he got invited to play on the traveling team. Like, big deal. Like, I think, oh gosh, we're going to honor this Carlin family by inviting. And we're like, no, we appreciate it. No thanks. And it was like, what? You didn't say yes? Do you know what we just offered you? And my daughter was offered to be on like part of the soccer team. It's like, we're just not doing the lifestyle.
It is the lifestyle. It is very, very hard. And my brother, as you know, played professional baseball. And when he was in Little League, we went to a lot of his games, but it was always fun and a family thing. Mm-hmm. And it was like a third of the schedule that they do now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you could be awesome and go to the highest level and be club and all that, but it wasn't insane. It wasn't like joining the Navy SEALs where it's 24/7. And now it's just out of control. And everybody thinks their kid is good or going to go to Major League. I think a lot of times they discount just hard work.
Yeah.
And they think, well, you got to play in this club and you got to do this. And we know kids, I know high school kids, they had to do club soccer because they're going to get a scholarship. They didn't get squat. They wasted their whole high school running around doing all this stuff.
I think it's parents living vicariously through their kids' accomplishments. And we can justify anything by saying it's for the scholarship. But does anybody really think they're going to get a scholarship? I don't know.
I want to say shout out to Bishop Amond in New Orleans, because several years ago he made the decision to ban Sunday sports from their Catholic schools.
Awesome.
Which
the fact
that should be a no-brainer. Yeah, why were they there in the first place? And I think that's great.
He also boycotted any contractor that built the Planned Parenthood in New Orleans. So it's not his
multiple reasons.
It's not his first home run of the season.
And gave us the green light to eat alligator on Fridays.
And wrote a letter saying alligator is not meat. You can eat it on Fridays at Lent.
Hilarious.
Which even John, the producer, as a Baptist, was very glad he could have fried gator as a Protestant during Lent. But it's so true. With all that stuff. And I disagree with something that you said, and it's true. Sometimes you do know your 13-year-old's going to the NBA. And you know what? You feed that.
Yeah.
And you go all in and you do what you have to do to like support them.
It's pure delusion for most.
Absolutely. But there are people where this kid, if he's throwing 91 and he's in the 8th grade, there's a lot of potential there.
Though amazingly, even there, I just read this book about throwing injuries. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this that's not going to make you laugh at me. I'm just going to put it out there. I read an article about arm injuries, and like the kids who are going year round on this Soviet style schedule, those are the ones who are blowing out their elbows.
Oh.
Yeah,
the ones who are more well-rounded end up performing better and healthier.
Yeah, my brother had rotator cuff.
Yeah,
he's because he played all the time and he pitched all the time and he was a pitcher. But by the time he was like 22, his career was over, and it should have been like taking off.
Oh, no.
Rest is such a bigger deal. I will say, with the whole athletes, you're crazy, you got to go all in. What's different now than in the 1990s is they want you to play multiple sports.
Yeah.
The coaches. That's a new thing. It's a very good thing. And there are certain sports, we've made baseball references. A lot of this is baseball, where I'm from. Or soccer. The soccer thing is crazy. And of course, I'm not very pro soccer. So I'm like, you got to travel all year to kick the ball and run. Is that hard? You're not throwing a baseball. It's not the bottom of the ninth, okay? The games take forever. And frankly, they're boring. But football's not that way. Mike Evans started playing football his junior year of high school.
Okay.
He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, right? So he was a 3rd-star recruit because he had a great junior year and a senior year, and then he went to A&M. And now he's with the Bucs. He's won the Super Bowl, and he's going to end up being in the Hall of Fame. But it's like he was never a wide receiver until his junior year of high school. You can pull that off when, number one, it's football. Number two, you're 6'5" and 240, and you run a 4.6. And with those two things, you have potential to start late. But baseball, you're not. You start playing baseball in the 6th grade, you're finished. You have no shot.
Depends. You're talking about I think last week's episode about a guy on the Royals. There was a guy who won the World Series with the Royals who started playing in his senior year of high school, and he made it. So.
Okay, that's lightning in a bottle. Though.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are like, I started playing in high school, and that was it. But, I mean, heck, even I would say now it's more so with golf after Tiger because...
Oh, yeah. He's like 3 years old.
It's just hard to pick up a golf club at 18 and be like, hey, I'm good at this. Nobody does that. And it's very hard to do in baseball. Anyways.
When it comes to overscheduling, maybe this is controversial, maybe it's not. You guys can tell me. We don't go to all of our kids' games. Like, we go to some of them when we can, but to follow them around to every single one, it just gets a little too worn down. The little kids are up too late. They're tired. They're crabby. They get sick. And so when we can go, we can go. But otherwise, you're free to play. Yeah. We'll pick you up if you need the ride, but we can't get to every single one.
But
I've never missed one of my kids' games.
Okay.
You have to.
I'm not saying that like you're a total loser. I'm saying, first off, I'm double dipping a lot. If Seamus is playing football, the girls are doing cheer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Seamus had a game in Austin. We didn't go, and of course they put him in and he played. But yeah, I think that's the only game that I've missed. And mainly because they're not involved in a lot of sports. But Mary Lisa's parent, and this is good. My parents were not at a lot of games just because they couldn't be. Mary Lisa's parents, and her dad was a doctor, and he just managed his schedule and was very disciplined, and they were at everything. And so that's a good influence she's brought into our marriage, but it's never been like okay, you're killing me here. Like, it's okay if we miss. I think she's fine if we have to miss, but it's always been like we're going to be there.
I think it can be controversial because there's a lot of parents who they're thinking about what their kids will say about them, and they look forward to their child's, valedictorian speech of saying, my mom and dad never missed, a single game of mine or whatever.
Well, now you're picking on Steve. But to defend your point.
No, that's what I was about to say. But it can be controversial, but at the same time.
That's what people are thinking.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're a dirtbag, but some people might.
I'm sure when your kids go to college, they'll find somebody who can be a father figure. No, what I'm saying, and what Steve is thinking, and what I've thought about this too, is that my kids have had these highlights at certain parts where I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm proud of them on the secular, they got the scholarship or they were lead in the play or whatever. And I'm like, their moments of writing us a letter or giving a speech, it's never that. It's our day-to-day example or whatever. Yeah. But I think your point is a lot of parents are like, no, they're going to talk about he drove me to every practice and all of that. And that's too functionary. I think that's good, but you should drive your kid to practice. They don't have a car. Who's going to take them? So I understand that sort of supportive role with the parents being present. But I still think the best version of those speeches, the valedictorian speeches, are my parents love each other. It makes me want to get married. Or it makes I see how much fun my parents have together. And they've been together 20 years. Or I see, it was their faith. My kids, when they have any kind of sentimental thing, they're always I know you're the 40 Days guy, but we don't really care about that. Your dad. Yeah. All that stuff, the separation of.
Right.
And I think that that's really good. It's like when Father Paul Scalia eulogized Justice Scalia.
Yes.
And he's like, he was a brilliant mind and all. And he's like, we didn't care. He was our dad.
Yeah.
He forgot all of our names. He mixed them up. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yes. Yeah. But it can be driven out of.
I do worry. I know what you're saying. You're worried about Steve's kids, and so am I.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm hearing.
She's gonna fly up and go to Peter's baseball game. I'm here for you now.
I'm here, Peter, even though Steve's not. You may not remember me from 2 years ago, but I'm here for you.
There's at least one member of the 40 Days for Life podcast at your games.
But I think parents can let fear drive them too, because they think if they miss one game, that's going to be the game that their kid, kicked that goal and.
Oh, I'm like that.
And their kid's going to be so disappointed because they couldn't look up at mom and dad and see, that is one thing that's, you have to balance that. But then when you have multiple kids and you're trying to get them, that's what I see a lot of families with big kids doing, is they're trying to synchronize, like, okay, you're the oldest and you have a passion of this, so you're going to be driving, you're driving our decision to go in this sport, and that means the two younger siblings closest to you are going to be playing that sport too, so that we can all drive you there at the same time and be in the same place, or they're going to have cheer or whatever. But like, one thing I love that I've learned from like Jennifer Fulwiler, she said before, she's got 6 kids, she's a female comedian now, but she used to be on Sirius XM the Catholic channel with her program, and she had to learn like how to juggle her traveling all the time and then the family and all the different activities that they were involved in. And she wrote this really beautiful article one time, and it was about how her family, you have to look at your family as a symphony. And if things are happening, you're trying to jam stuff in there that's just making noise and not working with your family symphony, then you need to figure out what needs to be cut out and what needs to be kind of included. And you all need to work together, because like it or not, you are a family union and you're trying to create this beautiful symphony that's actually going to sound good, that's going to work well. So if you have those things where you can combine those kind of activities together, or you can all go and support, this one sibling or mom and dad and whatever they're doing. Do whatever you can to try to make it all work. And it's going to be tough and you're going to have to make sacrifices, but that way you kind of you instill this understanding in your kids' kind of upbringing, that our family is our family and we support each other and we're going to do whatever we can. Like, you may say, why did you have so many kids? Why didn't you just have me so you can just focus on me? But that's not how it is. So we're focusing on all of us and working together. And I think that's really beautiful.
We do that when they're mad at each other or frustrated. And we do like the big picture, like, hey, we need to support each other. Mm-hmm. Like, this is all we have.
Yeah.
You're not going to know your high school friends in 40 years.
Most likely
not.
Yeah.
They're not coming to your funeral. We're all going to go through tragedy together. We're going to go through Christmases together. We're going to go through weddings and funerals and all this stuff. Like, this is all we have. Like, we've got to support each other and love each other and help each other. And it doesn't mean we're going to get along all the time, but there is this kind of like, they don't realize the 10 of us are going to go through a lot together.
Yeah.
You know,
they're just in the here and now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I do like that. I like the eat dinner together is our next one, which is so true and so important.
There's too much of this. I'm going to go eat in my room, or I'm going to grab, this on the way to this next activity, or we're just going to watch TV. And
not if you form the habit, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's too much of it if you're not careful.
Because sometimes I'll start praying, not realizing not everybody's
is at the table.
You're like, I wasn't here.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not leaving you out, but I'm glad you feel that way. Of course, we have a bell. We have to have a bell.
Oh, yeah. You told us about the bell before.
The bell is a great
Then they fight over who gets to ring the bell.
The little kids do. Yeah. Okay.
It's cute.
Schedule regular date nights with your spouse. This is a must. And
I hear this
Mary Lisa
all
and I
the
know
time.
when we're not going on dates. Like, we can feel it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you got to do like a lunch date because it's just too chaotic at night or whatever. But
Yeah.
you've got to get away. So many great priests have told me this over the years. It's just so true.
And if you're like 28 with 3 kids, you're like, must be nice, right? Like this like sounds aspirational. When your parents are like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I want a gift card to this restaurant and you to take the kids for 3 hours. That's what I want.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Or not even the gift card. Just take the kids. I'll pay for it. But yeah. And my in-laws are really good about that. But like you just alluded to, we have built-in babysitting now.
Mm-hmm.
And the older kids don't mind doing it. They don't get paid for it. It's on like the this is your job because you exist list.
Yes.
It's not like a, hey, well, here's my rate, man. It's like, you actually don't have a rate. I've bought everything you have.
Your rate is a roof over your head. And
Yeah, it's the old, I do like the old school.
Yeah.
Put a roof over her head, food on the table, never lied to her face. Spoiled her. So, that's 4 Christmases. But yeah, date nights, get social. We go extreme with this, one extreme or the other. So we'll have no like get-togethers or whatever. And then, gosh, recently, it wasn't Easter. It was like the week after. These things collided, and we had like 3 parties, like back-to-back weekends at our house for just different occasions. They were all fun, but it was just like, okay, we gotta have a weekend with nothing on it. But we do have people over a lot, and it's a lot of fun.
And this goes, you were just talking about overscheduling earlier and having too many dinner parties. But sometimes it could be the opposite, is what you're saying, is you've got all these scheduled, chaotic things, and you're not having date night. You're not having a social night.
Yeah, Mary Lisa and I have a phrase of like, that was a lot of fun. I haven't seen you in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Because it's just been like we're going and doing stuff, but you don't get to, you know.
Well, we both have seniors, so I don't know how many graduation parties you've been to this summer. But I'm like, one of the dads in Peter's class was like, I've spent more quality time with you in the last 2 weeks than with my wife.
Well,
Did you like put your arm around him? I love you, bro. You'll always.
When this thing is over, you and me should get an apartment together.
That's right. Let's go to a game. Oh my gosh.
I will say I noticed getting more and more involved in my parish. There was a lot of moms that were just parents, but moms in particular. They were just exhausted. Mm-hmm. They're having, a baby every year and a half or every couple of years. Things are getting busier with the kids' activities. And we would always say, oh, why don't we have a girls' night? Why don't we do that? And I finally I was like, if we keep talking about this and not doing it, like we have to actually schedule something. So I finally just said, because then it was like, oh, I don't know if we can have it at my house, and going out to eat is too expensive, and it's noise. So I was like, well, I'm the only one that doesn't have kids in my house. So here's a night, y'all come over. Don't worry about dinner, just come over. And it's like,
you can be the party house.
15 people will come over. And there might be, a couple of moms, they have to have their babies with them because they're breastfeeding or whatever. But all the other kids are not there. They're with a babysitter or they're with dad or whatever. And I kind of got to a point where I was like, these moms really just needed this hour. Like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to have a lot of people over at once, especially if you're wanting to have more intimate conversations. But these moms just needed this.
Yeah.
And
it's great. And we had a stretch where, kind of like you were saying, I was like, we're inviting people over all the time. I don't feel like we were getting that many invitations. Are we not liked? So I was like, I don't think that's the case, because everybody accepts our dinner invitations.
Yeah,
like, they're not,
exactly.
They're not inviting other people over either. Everyone else is overscheduled too. And so they're just like, we should do this. We don't do this. Force the issue and make it happen. And if maybe you can't pull off a dinner, like maybe after the kids go to bed, have people over for a glass of wine and charcuterie or something like that. Or you can do stuff with kids. We had this awesome Christmas party that we did this year with families. And we just, I didn't want to put a lot of money into it, but I wanted to do something. And so it was Christmas carols, Christmas cookies, and boxed wine.
Yeah.
And I still
Boxed
have, here in the
wine.
middle of summer, people are like, are you doing that again this year? We really love that.
Stay classy. Yeah, that's fun. Well, you mentioned the graduation parties. One of them was the one we hosted for the whole class and the parents.
Yeah.
And my in-laws took our little kids, and then the teenagers were there, and it was a blast. It was a blast. The dads came over. One dad, who I know but not too well, he just showed up and he opened a box of cigars and he's like, I knew I was coming to your house. And I was like, are we allowed to smoke those tonight? He's like, it's your house. I was like, yes, front porch and 5. But yeah, it ended up being like a blast. And you know how you kind of know some people and you know other parents better, and the kids had a blast. And so that, it's a lot of fun to do stuff like that. And, you got to balance it all.
The play dates is good because it allows the kids to like entertain each other, and the parents get to have, adult conversations, and while you're, watching your kids climb trees and getting into trouble in the backyard.
I'll say in my experience, I try to like force fun on my wife. Laura likes to have fun, but sometimes, at least in my experience, my lived experience, men are very good at like cigar on the porch in 5. I found that like my wife and her friends is sort of like they feel this constant sense of obligation. Like, no, I'll take the kids, go do something. Like, I'm going to like lay down my scriptural, like, man is the head of household.
Man is head of house.
Like, you must submit to me by going to ladies' night or whatever.
And don't talk about the kids at ladies' night.
Oh,
talk
it's
about
nearly
something
impossible.
else. I know it is.
During
yeah.
COVID, they were doing like the ladies' night virtually, which forget about COVID, but I'd like walk upstairs and I hear them talking about like their kids' constipation. Like, is this what girls do for fun?
Oh, gosh.
Can't you talk about like why Major League 2 was nowhere as good as Major League 1? The last one is really good. The don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And I would just say as we close this out, for people to be patient with themselves. I am not a patient person. And I have been, thankfully, forced into patience through life of just, you got to be patient. It just doesn't work. And I had a priest say one time, smoking a cigar on my porch, it's amazing how patient God is with us. When you think about him being creator of the universe and dying for our sins and everything, like how immensely patient he is with us. And I think we need to be patient with our family life and how it goes. The symphony thing is really good. There's going to be low notes. There's going to be high notes. You just got to keep going, and you can't get frustrated. You can get frustrated, but you can't get just totally discouraged, clouded in your mind,
Locked
crazy.
in your frustration.
Yes, and a lot of times doing nothing for one day, preferably a Sunday, that's the most realistic, and just having like a reset, sitting down for 5 minutes and saying, this week, so-and-so needs to be here on Tuesday, needs to be here on Thursday, pulling out your iPhone and putting it in the calendar. Because people tell me stuff, and I'm like, it just doesn't matter. Unless I put it in my calendar, it doesn't matter. I won't remember. And just doing all that stuff, and that solves a lot. But I think people, I know I've done it, where you just throw your hands up, our life is chaotic, it's too busy, and maybe it is, and maybe it takes those moments, but you've got to use those to say, no, it's busy, we're going to not do this, we are going to do this, we're not canceling Christmas, we're not canceling the 4th of July, and just, I don't know, being patient with the entire process, because it'll wear you out.
There's more peace that comes with it when you realize that life is not Instagram, and you're not going to achieve like this perfect harmony at all times. Like, the struggle is kind of the point. We are preparing each other for heaven and family life.
And this is where the older folks do come in handy. Guys like you and I at our age don't like hearing it, but it's true when they say it is going to move on. It's just right now. And it's kind of like you're in the middle of a marathon and you're like, I'm never going to stop running. I'll run until I die. This is awful. And you're like, no, you've got about an hour left. And that's a long time. That's a long time to run and you're really tired. But in an hour, this is going to be over. And there is that part of it. And just, we have a family, and they have had a lot of suffering, but they are wonderful people. And they have 9 kids. And she's Italian, he's Mexican. The kids are all just like gorgeous. And she said something very practical, like, when the first 3 left, we felt it. Like oh my gosh, this is like way easier. It's like a trickle, and like you kind of notice, but even having 1 or 2 in college, it's crazy. But then there's like when the older 3 left, there was like oh my gosh, we feel like we're empty nesters, like in a good way. Like this is getting easier. And I do think that part, it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down. And I always tell Mary Lisa, I told her this morning, actually, I was like, I know it's crazy. I know I'm traveling, but hey, whenever we're in our 60s, it'll just be me and you in the house and nobody else. And she's like, that's what I'm afraid of. Then you're going to be following me around, asking me a bunch of questions. Then she's like, I don't even believe that. You're always going to be doing something, which is probably true. So We hope that this was helpful to you, the listeners.
Recap this list.
Let's recap it. Okay, the first one, set hard limits on phone use. Number 2, have a schedule for your chores. Number 3, pray every day. Number 4, touch grass. Find your inner self. No, throw the football. Number 5, quit overscheduling. Number 6, eat dinner together. Number 7, schedule regular date nights. Number 8, get social. Number 9, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I would say if you did 3 of these 9, you're doing pretty good at any given time. And then you kind of add 1. You know, you can pick 3. Try to do it this week. All right. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Steve. Please rate, review, share this podcast. Give your suggestions how to make your home life more peaceful on the YouTube page, or email us at podcast@40daysforlife.com. And we will see you next time. God bless you.